Let's go, mano.
We're coming off of God of War 2018. How do you top that? How do you deliver something that players will love maybe just as much as God of War 2018?
Pois é, eu fazia a mesma pergunta.
The pressure was tremendous.
Eu imagino o pessoal da Santa Mônica, que a pressão foi muito grande. Formando a história God of War Ragnarok.
My name is Ariel Angelotti, and I am the senior producer for narrative.
My name is Richard Gobert. I'm the story lead for God of War Ragnarok.
I'm Jody Kupsko, and I'm the supervising dialogue designer.
It's my job to shape the story along with our writing team, our narrative director, and game director.
As a producer, it's my job to help build a team to create that content, to own the schedule in realizing that content.
I oversee the dialogue production throughout the entire titles. Every line of dialogue that you hear, every human vocalization and effort and grunt, our team touches.
So I'm a man now, like you?
No. We are not men. We are more than that. The responsibility is far greater.
In the story of God of War 2018, we find Kratos seemingly having turned over a new leaf in the Norse lands.
Pois é, né?
He lives a quiet life, hidden in the woods with his wife Faye and their son Atreus. And the story starts with them mourning her death. And we learn that she made a final request before she passed away. She wanted them to spread her ashes from the highest peak in all the 9 realms. He's scared of being a bad father, a bad influence, and as a result, it's made him an absent father. His greatest fear is that he's passed that evil that's inside of him onto his son.
You are too quick to temper. You are rash, insubordinate, and out of control. This will not stand. You will honor your mother and abandon this path you have chosen. It is not too late.
They befriend Freya, who is an exiled Vanir goddess who used to be married to Odin. They meet
Isso aqui é bom pra
Mimir,
gente
the
ficar, né?
self-proclaimed smartest man alive,
Já ligado.
who serves as their guide and their confidant. And they meet the Holdra brothers, Brock and Sindri, who are world-class weaponsmiths who end up their main source of upgrades and equipment. Now, among the enemies they make are the Aesir gods, whose leader is none other than Odin, someone we never meet in God of War 2018, but who casts a very long and dark shadow over the 9 realms.
There are consequences to killing a god!
Why? How do you know? How do you know?
After many adventures, Kratos and Atreus end up fulfilling Mom's wishes, and over the course of that journey, they find out more about each other and about themselves, and finally find a common ground between them. They become the close family unit that Faye hoped that they would become.
Show. Agora é Ragnarok,
In
né?
God of War Ragnarok, we fast forward a few years, and little
Uns anos.
Atreus is now a teen, and they're back to hiding out in their home in the woods in Midgard. During the course of the previous game's events, they were forced to kill Odin's grandchildren, Magni and Modi, the sons of Thor. Thor does a lot of the lion's share of Odin's dirty work, and as a
Imaginei.
consequence, he's a very violent, unstable personality. At the end of the last game, they were also forced to kill Balder, the son of Odin and Freya, and that has its own set of consequences. He was a very powerful chess piece for Odin, one that Odin is incredibly bitter about losing. Freya has vowed vengeance against them for the killing of her son. Kratos and Atreus didn't want to kill him, they were friends with Freya, but Balder tried to kill her in front of them, and Kratos had no other option in the moment but to kill him to save Freya's life, even though it meant losing Freya's friendship.
I will parade your cold body.
Tem essa não, Pré. Você tava devendo, filha. Você tinha ajudado a gente e você não ia morrer, não.
Your soul to the vilest filth in hell. That is my promise.
He saved your life.
He robbed me of everything.
Cara, eu fiquei bolado nessa parte aqui, porque eu falei, cara, oh meu Deus, Freya.
Everything.
His death is also foretold to bring about Fimbulwinter, which is a brutal 3-year winter that is then followed by Ragnarok. It's
Aí,
an
galera.
apocalyptic war between all the Norse gods, the giants, the dwarves, and the elves,
Viram aí como é
and
que
an
ficou?
army of
Tem
the
umas
dead.
mudanças aí, hein?
They're all destined to fight in a battle that basically ends the world. Kratos is understandably worried about his son and what it means for him.
You get to go on this journey with how Atreus grows into a young adult and how Kratos grows into his next era in his life, and really see kind of the parent that he's striving to be, but the person he's striving to be. I find that tale so incredibly relatable.
É,
We
tem
had
umas coisas
started
a mais aqui
shooting,
mesmo.
Plenty of content before the pandemic hit. In fact, the week before we all went work from home, we were doing a shoot. I remember being on and off that set, running back to the office and having to talk to studio leadership about what was going down and how this was going to impact us moving forward. And those were trying times.
For us, it was a very unique challenge because we had to bring in actors and we had to record them. And so we had to look at different ways of adapting our typical motion capture process and dialogue recording process so we can continue production and continue at the quality that we wanted for our players and our fans.
We had some actors stand in for other characters, actors who were already, who were like core to one of the scenes, might just be able to play a background character in another scene to be able to avoid a situation where too many people were on set on any given day. We avoided compromising the story that we were trying to tell as a result of the pandemic and these limitations
Teve
that we
muita
had to
coisa,
deal
né,
with.
mano?
There were
Muito
no
rolê.
cinematics that we changed. We still have the same characters in them in the final game. We just had to get a bit creative with how we shot the content.
Our actor for Atreus, Sonny, is a teenage boy, and his voice changed dramatically throughout the several years on this title.
I don't want to fight anyone. I just want answers.
We had to go in and even out that performance so it sounds like it took place over a short period of time. That was a unique challenge on this one.
The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok. War is coming.
Whether the Norse saga was going to be a trilogy or just 2 games was something we debated a lot. There were obviously pros and cons for either approach. So we waited for Cory Barlog to weigh in, and he did, and he said, let's do it in 2.
The consequence to that is, how do you wrap up the story in one game and do Ragnarok justice? How do we lead up to that and then have a big moment at the end of the game and wrap up all those loose threads? This game is bigger than what we initially envisioned. There's a lot of important story moments that we needed to cover. There are more characters that we follow the threads of. And ultimately, it ends up feeling big and epic because there is a lot there for people to enjoy.
I am very
Sure.
excited for folks to see this final chapter. A lot happens. We put our characters through the ringer, but we also bring them closure and we provide answers to a lot of the questions the first game posed.
Just all of the new combat that we're doing and the new interactions. There's a lot of stuff that's happening in this title that I think people are going to have fun with.
We all have our own personal Ragnaroks to deal with. And this story is about how you process that, how you own it, and how you make it a part of yourself and grow from it.
I mean, we set some stuff up at the end of last game. There's gonna be some consequences this game. We're gonna see how things play out between Freya and Kratos. We're gonna see how the evolution of the family relationship continues. You got Brock and Sindri, the dwarves, who are kind of part of your makeshift family now. And there's gonna be some other characters that we introduce that maybe gonna disrupt the balance a little bit. I can't wait until players get their hands on the game, are able to experience how the story unfolds for themselves.
We have, I think, an incredibly well-rounded game. Very satisfying combat, beautiful and rich environments to explore, outstanding character art, a lush and moving soundtrack and soundscape. It's the work of hundreds of very dedicated artists, and they all have their own stories to tell.
Galera, seguinte, mano, a gente teve algumas cenas novas aqui, né? Como, tipo, essa daqui, ó, aquela cena em que o Kratos vai tocar na luz de novo, o Atreus acaba não deixando, né? Vamos botar aqui, né? Como a gente pode ver, realmente o Atreus não deixa, ele fala alguma coisa, tipo, será que ele tá com medo do Kratos ficar preso dessa vez pra sempre lá na luz? Tá ligado? Interessante, a gente conseguiu ver aqui também, manos. Eu vi o Tyr ali fazendo alguma coisa, hein? Ó, seguinte, pelo que a gente consegue ver aqui, ó. Mano, isso aqui, né? God of War 2018 e God of War Ragnarok. Galera, PlayStation 4 roda isso aqui tranquilamente, tá? Os caras, os caras basicamente adicionaram a neve, tá ligado? É isso. Pelo menos aqui em Midgard, né? Aqui a gente tem uns detalhes. Ali a gente tem o Skull e Hat, né? Tem a lua e o sol. É porque é muito rápido, né? Não dá pra ver muita coisa. A gente tem uma cena nova aqui também. A gente tem uma parada nova aqui também, ó. Ó, aqui é interessante, meus amigos. Aqui é interessante. Ele fala que eles ainda têm, ó, eles ainda têm a casa deles, pelo que parece, tá vendo? Ok, não tô vendo nada de. Já tá. Olha a relação do Kratos com Atreus já aqui. Cadê as lâminas do caos que eu não tô vendo? O Atreus parece estar assustado. Aí é que ele vem sorrindo, ó. O Kratos pega as flechas, tipo, toma aí, moleque. Vê se tá bom. Aí ele dá uma risadinha, tipo, nice. Aí o Kratos, tipo, tá ligado? Aquele jeitão dele. Olha lá a cara dele, mano. Mano, cara, o Kratos é. Ah, velho. Tem que dizer que personagem, né, galera? Que personagem sensacional, mano. Ó, aqui a gente tem mais é, um pouco de como tá o jogo, tá vendo? Como era no 2018, como tá no Ragnarok, né, mano? É isso mesmo, galera. Não, é basicamente só adicionaram neve aqui, né? Pelo que eu tô vendo. Não tem muita. Porque eu vi muita gente falando que como o jogo podia estar no PlayStation 4. Galera, eu acho que vai rodar super de boa, mano. Ainda mais depois do que eles mostraram aqui, né? Aqui é bem o início mesmo do GOG 2018, né? Então, assim, manos, agora que começa mesmo, né? Eles devem soltar mais coisas. Isso aqui é um pouco do moldando a história. É porque a Sony provavelmente ela não quer soltar tanta coisa da história assim. Também, né? Ia ser zoado se eles soltassem, né, galera? Vamos ser sinceros aqui. E vocês viram que eles falaram que eles guardaram algumas coisinhas pro final aí do jogo, né? Vamos ver que, galera, eu não aguento mais esperar, cara. Faltam aí algumas semanas ainda. E espero que vocês tenham curtido esse vídeo aqui. Se vocês quiserem ver isso aqui com mais detalhe, tá lá no canal da PlayStation, né? Eu quis trazer um react, vendo um pouco mais, comentar um pouco mais sobre o que a gente viu aqui, mas realmente tem algumas mudanças sim, né? E essa cena aqui é incrível. Olha aqui, ó. Acho que é aqui que é a cena que eu queria falar e mostrar pra vocês. Olha só o que, que a gente tem aqui, ó. A gente tem a luz, né? Acho que é a luz lá do reino dos elfos. Aí tem o Tyr tá com a mão pra... O que ele tá fazendo aqui, cara? Peraí, voltou. Não dá pra saber também, né? O Atreus e o Tyr, olha lá. Nossa, essa cena é linda, galera. Essa cena é linda, o Atreus rindo ali, tipo, cara, dá pra ver que realmente ele gosta muito do pai dele, né? E o Kratos também gosta muito do Atreus. Mas não vou me enrolar muito não, que eu não gosto de enrolar muito nos vídeos, não. Vou ficando por aqui. Um abraço a todos, fiquem com Deus e até mais. Fui!